Hey guys, and welcome back. Now, when we left it last time, we were counting down the departure of our first timetabled service. And as you can see here, the AE, why it's not, I guess, automated engineer rather than AI. Thank you for interrupting me. Yes, as you can see, it did say that it was waiting until 10 o'clock for its departure time, which has now arrived, and the train is leaving to make its inaugural journey. We've got 35 passengers on board, and as you can see, orders are 35 mile an hour. But when that gets close to Ela, that will change, and we'll actually report it as arriving at Ela. And if all goes well and all is set correctly, the AI should recognise it has a service to do and will set itself to max speed 0, knowing that it's not due to go any further. And then what we'll do is we'll just quickly set his operations over for the return service. So it's still a bit of a faff. It doesn't automatically recognise that, oh, there's a westbound service, I need to update for that. So you do manually still have to go and change that over, but it's not the end of the world, and it does simplify things, certainly more so when we open more stations, which leads me into my next thing. So mileposts or milestones. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to repair the Ela track and bridge, because Ela's not a great end of the line destination by any stretch of the imagination. So we are going to want to open up for that, which costs £1,000. I'm going to try and fudge this a bit and actually get it to a point where we can possibly get a discount, get our railroad rating up, get ourselves a discount, and then we'll start the first phase. But after that, I want to head to Ela, which is 10 grand, which is a lot of money. And I think we can bring that down to 7,500. But that is going to be effectively stage 4, because there's 3 phases or stages to unlock in Bryson, which is what I want to do. I want to start the freight operations there, then come eastbound to Ela before going further. I mean, I want to eventually get to a point where we are doing coal across the line. I think American coal is great. One thing we are also going to be doing is diesels, and to that end I've added a few mods in, which I've not got activated. Excellent. Right, so I will have to go and look at that after this recording, but it's not the end of the world. I mean, we've got oh so I haven't been in here on an experimental, but now you get a little preview. That's excellent. So we can see what it is we're looking at and potentially buying. So right now, that's what we've got. We've got one of those for our passengers, which is great. And what I may actually go and do is, if we get enough passengers, we're going to fill out these and potentially build a 5-coach rake of these. And then what I'll do is I'll buy 3 of those. No, 2 of those, sorry. And 3 of these. And we'll reverse one of these and we'll have them sandwiched in each end. And that will become our train. But anyway, while I've been gabbling on, As you can see, station stop, Keyless Station. So there was in stable mode a rudimentary form of AI where you could set it and it would recognize stations. The timetable mode just takes that an extra step further, so you can tell it when to depart rather than having to go in and do that yourself. So he knows he should be here, but he's going to wait a while because we set our departure time from here to be, what did we set it at? So 10:20. Wow. So let's change that up. 10 minutes. Apply that. So he's going to recognize that. And when it gets to 10 past, that will change. But while we're here, it'd be rude not to go and have a look at this new building. Now, this is just experimental, of course. So that's not to say this is the final building. It may be. And if it is, oh, there you go. So he's finished unloading the passengers and he's actually realised he's got to stop now. So he's set. Not to stop. But yeah. So this is something that's been lacking for a while, is buildings. And the devs did acknowledge this, and to that end they've brought someone else on to start sort of filling out the world a bit. And I don't know, this, it's all, I don't know, maybe they need some colour variation on the doors or something. It just, yeah, looks like a work in progress, if I'm honest. But that's not to say it's a bad thing. The fact it's here at all makes me very happy, because when we start running freight services into here, it's actually got a place to go now, which makes me incredibly happy. So now our train is here. Let's show this, and we're going to set him up on operations for train 5 or train 6 eastbound. And we're going to go like this. Operations. So it recognizes that. And then we're just going to copy from timetable. And there we go. It's loaded up. So at 10:30, so we've got a bit of time, he's going to return. And yes, I'm just doing a shove. I don't care. I know I've got time to run around. And when we get to Brighton, I will start doing run around services, but not right now. So in the meantime, why don't we skip and have a look at what is going on at Whittier? Because nothing there for our Hollifield just yet, but we have got a single dwelling, which, you know, should be more people living here, I agree, but that's cool in itself. We've got a single dwelling, and I'm guessing in time we're going to get more building, and this is going to fill up. I mean, what would be really, really cool, and I don't know if the devs are already thinking of this or if they can do this, but what would be really cool is if the passenger operations actually influence this and it gradually filled out as you transfer passengers from place to place. I think that would be an excellent way to do this. And, oh, is that the same bridge as before? Or have they updated it? I need to go and look at my old content, because I'm pretty sure that's a different bridge. And if it is, that is cool. I like that bridge. It suits the area. It looks right. So yeah, we've got new buildings. I don't know. I imagine they haven't yet. If we just scooch up to Connolly, no. So there's no industry buildings just yet up here. I mean, that Dutch barn style building, shed, whatever you want to call it, that was here before. So, you know, but it's fine. I don't expect them to populate everything in a day, but that's cool. And we are going to start using this area for operations in this season, in this series, gameplay, through, whatever you want to call it. So we are going to start bringing our skeleton cars up here. Right now, off screen between videos, I have set it up. So our first train will be using L2, which is my standard go-to. You can get 18 spine cars in there quite easily. Get those loaded up with logs. We don't have a contract right now to be able to take advantage of that. If we jump back to Whittier Yard, because there's something I forgot to cover in the first video, and that is our repairs. So it used to be that you'd come in here, and I did kind of touch on this a little with our, let's move that out of the way, with our boxcar over here, which I've also coloured between videos. So if we inspect that, operations, you set where you want to unload, which is here, and load by repair parts via East Whittier interchange. Now we will have to change that when we unlock silver, but essentially, yeah, you have to buy repair parts now, ship them in via boxcar, place them there, and that will gradually, we go to Whittier Depot, no, Whittier Engine Service, you Muppet. As you can see, that will gradually fill up our repair parts. And the repair track, you don't hire people anymore. It automatically does it. So it will show you a report of all the vehicles that are in the repair area, which that is a repair track all the way through there, which is why our boxcar is shown up here. But as you can see, we've got number 1, and number 1 is tender, and it shows you the percentage of the repair. It shows you how long in game time it will take to do the repair. So it's going to take 12 hours, 6 minutes. And it's going to take 4 hours. And it shows you the quantity of the repair parts. So as you can see, we've got 25.5, and we're going to use 4 of them on this. And you can speed up repairs by paying more for staff. So that's an overview of how repairs work now. You kind of prefer it to the old way, which was, oh, you hire staff and you pay them per day. Because now you only actually pay them $50 per day per car. So you're only paying them when they're working. Because otherwise, if you didn't have anything to repair for 5 days, you either had to sack off your staff, which meant going in here, getting rid of them, and then remembering to rehire them, and they only start work the following day. It was just a bit messy. This works so much better. Because if you bring a vehicle in, you want them to be repairing straight away. And indeed, they're going to be working on that. I'm happy with 1 times repair speed, so that's going to be ready at about 20 past 10 tonight, which is still too late to use it today, but it's all good. So while we're on here, we are going to have a look at hiring in or taking on some contracts once our passenger train is doing what it's doing. So these are gradually filling up, as you can see, with pulpwood and logs at each location. They do supply 12 cars per day. So we're only going to be able to run 1.5 trains per day into L2. So we are going to need to get some skeleton cars pretty quickly. My plans for the sawmill. Because I am not going to take this tier 1 contract purely because I want to wait and get a tier 3 contract on that. I'm happy to take a Holyfield heating oil contract at tier 1. We don't need anything for our interchange. Although we could schedule an extra service for 12:45. Does that mean that it's going to take our boost away today? I wonder. Let's just do that. We'll just see. The Stenzel manufacturing. Again, I'm going to wait on that. Just because I think if we take it, we can get that up to a tier 3 straight away as well. Anyway, with all that said, I'm going to skip ahead a couple of minutes and we should be ready for our passenger train to come out. So, almost missed our stop because I didn't set a max speed for our driver, but it is 10:20 and as you see, he is leaving us behind. He's going to head back to Whittier and you can see we've made $35. I mean, we could have looked up there actually, because you make $1 per passenger on this short stretch, which is about 3 miles, I think it works out as. I wish it wouldn't do that. I wish you'd realise, and I can't control it. So, even though I'm selected on here, if I try and change the headlight, it'll just keep putting the rear light. And realistically, if you were moving stock like that, you wouldn't have the light on if you're coupled up. I mean, I feel really sorry for the passengers right now in our train that are getting blasted in the eyes from that light. Maybe we should be putting the number 1 on here because it doesn't have a rear light. Food for thought there. Yeah. Anyway, as I say, I'm going to be looking into changing to diesel operation. Anyway, I'm a diesel guy through and through. any of you that have been around for a while will know that. You know, seems cool and all, and I appreciate the mechanical side of it, but I just don't get excited by it. Yeah, I can't explain why. I know for many people, Steam has this whole romantic image and brutality and whatnot, and they just see diesels as the horrible, smelly, modern things. They're not modern. I mean, diesels have been around for over 100 years now. So, you know, diesels are not modern. Electric traction isn't modern. So that's a silly thing. I think electric traction has been around longer than internal combustion engines for rail use. Don't quote me on that. I'd have to go and check for sure. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that the order was steam, well, horse-drawn, steam, electric, internal combustion. Yeah, there's no such thing as modern traction. Unless you get into hydrogen, which is a whole other thing. There's not going to be any hydrogen locos in this game. It's very much an emergent technology. So, yeah, that's that. Yeah, as I got wildly distracted, we are going to have diesels in this playthrough. Say I do have some mods which funnily haven't been activated. I need to have a look at activating mods, whether it's a combination and you can't run mods in experimental. But I'll find out. I'll do a bit of digging after this video. But anyway, our train is nicely returning here. And that is one timetable fulfilled. Now I am going to go off screen and fill out a whole host of timetables. Essentially, I want the train to run every 2 hours. So this is back at 10:25. And I will set up another train to run at 12, at 2, at 4, at 6. I think 6 p.m.'s fine. That means it's going to be back here for about, well, 6:25. And then we can shuttle it back, do any servicing that needs doing, and so on and so forth. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to take manual control of our locomotive here. I'm going to wait for all these passengers to get off. And as you can see, we have got an active waybill, which if I go find this, the operations load, Connolly Creek. That should have been copied to all of them. So they should all be ready to go up there. Not just this one, but hey ho. Right, let's get back to our loco. I'm getting distracted now. So all our passengers are off. We are going to switch off our headlight so we're not blinding the empty car. And what we're going to do is just going to run this over, and we're going to pop it over here for now, just so it's out of the way. In fact, what we could do is we could try the new waypoint. So if you hold control and press G, we can set a waypoint for a loco and say, come over here. And hopefully if this all works, what he's going to do is going to run that over here. He's going to pass this switch. He's going to automatically set the switch, and he's going to run his train over onto that siding as instructed. Now, waypoints are so cool. This is the big thing that's changed from the stable version that everybody plays and experimental mode. We don't have waypoints in the stable release just yet. And so you kind of have to rely on fusees. Or you can send the train one direction, it gets to the fusee, now you set it for another direction. It runs up to a fusee or just carries on till it hits a point set against it or what have you. Now with proper waypointing, it knows, okay, I need to go there. What do I need to do to get there? And it will run, do what it needs to do, throw switches, blow the horn, and yeah, just generally make its way over wherever it needs to go. As you can see, we can run that in here. Kind of blocking the crossing there, but you know what? It'll be fine. They'll manage. Gonna do that. Gonna set him at a more sedate 25. I don't want him blasting his way around everywhere. So again, we're going to set a waypoint there, 413 feet away. I'm going to set one there. It now realizes that it's got 0.1 miles. Now I don't know what would happen if I try and tell him to come all the way back to the yard. He may decide the quickest route would be through the passenger car. In fact, let's try that. Oh no, it's just immediately set that switch. So that's cool. So he does recognize that there is a vehicle in the way. He doesn't want to interact with that. So he's not going to. Right. So what we're now going to do, be really ambitious. We're going to set a waypoint for there. And we're going to come over here. So he now knows that I want him to go and couple up to our skeleton cars. So we're going to run him down. And this is where, if you do use AI operations as I do, it's going to get so much more easier and less complex, because you're just going to be able to say, right, I want you to go from here to here. And it'll do it. So you're essentially going to use two modes. You're going to use the waypoint mode, and when running passengers, you're going to want the road mode, and just set him up and say, right, these are the operations you're doing. Go do it. Right now, So he's still set as a train crew passenger. But because we're using the waypoint mode, we're overriding his instructions, which technically his instructions are now finished with until tomorrow. Because the passenger train doesn't know it needs a passenger train until 10 a.m. tomorrow because we haven't set any more timetables up. So just going to continue running this. We'll get connected to our skeleton cars. So even though we haven't got a contract, so we can't tell them to unload yet, what we can do is we can get them run up Connolly Creek and loading, ready for tomorrow. So what we'll do is we'll do that, and then we'll bring our loco down, and we'll see if we can tell it to travel all the way back down on its own and couple up to our passenger train. What we've got to remember is we need to set a waypoint so it comes this way and then goes and connects, because otherwise it's going to turn the loco on the triangle or the Y if you're American. So come in and see. Gonna buffer in. Gonna whistle and say, "Hey, I've done what you asked." So we're gonna connect the air for him because, yeah, I haven't worked that out yet. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna bring up the map. Gonna fly over here to Connolly. Which is here. We're gonna set a waypoint. You zoom in. Sorry for anyone who gets motion sickness. And I'm going to tell it we need to come here. So waypoint set 2.8 miles. I'm going to jump back to our train. And he is going to reverse this out and take our train up to Connolly Creek without any kind of fuses in the rail or any of that stuff. Now, to be clear, you can still use fuses and the AI will still respond to a fusee. And there may be times when you need to do that. Like you want him to follow an instruction, but you've got a conflict in move and you want him to wait at a certain point without having to set up a waypoint to go to a certain place and then have to set up a fresh one to finish the move. You could use a fusee to effectively hold him whilst you allow another train to pass, and then he can go on his way just by deleting the fusee. So that's one example of why you may still use fusees. And as I say, even in waypoint mode or road mode, the AI will still respect your fusees. So you can kind of mix and match. Anyway, I'm going to pause the recording, get this up to Connolly Creek, and then we'll come back here. So we are now approaching after 5-10 minutes. We are approaching L2 of Connolly Creek. As you can see, he's just casually brought his train up here. No rushing, no issues. And he realises that end of track, so he's just going to bring this in as far as he can. And we're going to bring that to a nice controlled stop. Thank you, Mr. AI. What we are going to do is just come along. I'm going to apply a couple of handbrakes because I've been watching Kerbo, and yes, Kerbo has encouraged me indirectly to start doing videos on Railroader again. And he says that one handbrake is insufficient. Now, I don't know if that's a change for the experimental and the weight physics and stuff. Unstable, I found one handbrake is enough to hold a fully loaded log train, but I'm not going to risk it, quite frankly. So I'm going to uncouple there. And then I'm going to tell our friend here, you know what, we've got time. I want to see. Oh no, I'm not risking it. So let's jump down here on the map. We're going to tell our friend here that we want him to come back here, which is 2.3 miles. Before coming down here and connecting to our passenger car. Excuse me. So, there we go. He recognises his instructions. He's going to do that. And if I was to go and say do maximum speed 45, see, even though he's run to the waypoint, he does recognise speed limit and will drive appropriately. So what we need to do now, because as you can see, I've populated the timetable a bit and I've missed some numbers out. Great. But right now, we need him to become passenger timetable 7. Let's cycle through that. Now see, he recognises himself as timetable number 7, which is excellent. So, of course, you don't need to see him roll all the way down the hill. I need to go and edit some numbers on my timetable and finish filling it out. So I'll catch back up with you guys in just a second. So it seems that setting multiple waypoints hasn't really worked out for me. So he's realised, oh, I can get there in a quicker direction if I do this. So yeah, that's a bit of a shame. But you know what? I can sort that at the end of the day. Get rid of the map. So that's something for us to bear in mind. Is if you do set multiple waypoints, it is only going to really look at the last one you set. So it only records one, and it is going to look at just the most efficient way of doing that, whilst avoiding rolling stock. Maybe it's just because he knows that he's got to connect this end. So we are going to be running backwards up to Ela and shoving forwards. Kind of the best, or the worst of all worlds, should I say. You know what? It is what it is. Operations. Just going to copy from timetable and say, you know what, when the passengers are here, you can jump on the train. You okay. So switch his speed, set his direction, and immediately he does recognise that he's got to depart at 12 o'clock. So I'm going to skip the rest of this day and do that all off camera. And we'll come back at 5 to 6 in the evening for the next video, where hopefully I'm going to have a whole bunch of money sat here from running this. I don't know how it works out cost-wise, whether I'm going to be burning more in fuel than I'm going to be earning from sending the train. It shouldn't work out like that. It should be okay, but you know, good experiment and all that. Yeah, we're going to come back just for 6 p.m, which is when we get our daily report, as you can see. And I will also let you know if the caboose sold in the meantime. So with that said, if you made it this far in the video, guys, bit of a long-winded one, I know again, but yeah, hopefully all interesting stuff. And I'm going to catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.